Yeah, first of all, good morning. Spring 2026 is in full effect. We just finished practice 4 yesterday. We got practice 5 on tomorrow with a big scrimmage for us. We've got 103 guys in this spring ball. Probably the most that I've had as a head football coach. Normally the spring, everybody's down in numbers. I think that it really speaks to the new wave of college football where you want your team to be together for the most part in the spring. And so we're really excited about the numbers and the depth. A year ago, we had 62 guys. Half of them quit before spring ball was over with. So we really had a down spring. But this year, we got a lot of competition, a lot of new faces. I think it's 62 new faces overall. We had about 48 returners or so. And so we're really excited about the spring. We've got some staff changes that took place. We got a new receiver coach. We moved Coach Colbert to assistant head coach and receivers coach. He was our director of football operations before. We moved Coach Early from assistant head coach to associate head coach just because our profession says associate is higher than assistant. So we made that move to keep him as the second in charge. And then we hired a new offensive line coach in Manny Martinez. Manny and I go way back. We worked together at the place across town about 15 years ago. And so really good coach coming from A&M Kingsville. Again, Coach Colbert was already in-house. This year's theme is Finish the Fight. Obviously, it makes sense for what we're trying to do. These two guys that are with me, they've been here since the day we walked in the door here when we first met in this meeting room back in January of 25. These two guys came here from high school, and so they've seen a lot. They've been a part of a lot of Panther football, and they continue to rise to the top of Panther football. And they're what we want our football program to be about. Because of them, because they've been through a lot, us making the run on winning the SWAC championship and going to the Celebration Bowl and not finishing it is the reason why it's so important for us as a collective to finish the fight on what we came here to do. We make no qualms about what we came to do. Our goal is really simple. We want to win the SWAC West. We want to host the SWAC championship game. That is probably a bigger deal now more than ever. We want to host it, we want to win it, and we want to get ourselves to Atlanta and come out of there as a winner. I didn't do a very good job of saying we need to win in Atlanta. I said we got to get there. I didn't say we have to win there. And so the got to get there kind of took off. Well, now it's got to win there. And these guys, along with the 101 other guys that are in our collective, they're going to make sure that we finish the fight. So I'm really excited about the spring. We got a new staff member, a new off-the-field staff member as well. We've hired Shay Taylor as our assistant GM, which she comes from the University of Arkansas, and she has a lot of experience in recruiting. So she's going to take on more of a recruiting role. Dr. Williams is going to transition to an overall being over recruiting media as well as business relationships, which is something that we want to be able to increase. So with that, I can't wait to hear from these two guys. I really never heard them talk in this setting, so I really want to hear them. But we're certainly excited about where we're going.
Questions from the floor?
I'll start out with Chase. Can you compare like what this spring has been like compared to last, and how different it is, and what that transition has been like?
Yeah, for sure. This year, it's more, direct. Last year, it was more of people not want to be here for real and not ready to play for us. So this year, it's more, we recruited our guys to play for us. So it's more, direct, more disciplined. It's more, we ready.
What about the competition, though?
Excuse me?
What about the competition?
Competition is more high. It's more talent, more competition. We get out to each other every day. So, that's what we love.
Joe Clay, 1876 Sports Coach Podcast. Coach Jackson, I love what you said about got to win. We don't have to remix that. That was like a t-shirt or something. But with all the influx of talent again, this is your second spring. A lot of new guys again for the second year in a row. How have you added or changed up your strategy for team development? Maybe taking from lessons learned from last season.
Yeah, Yeah, Joe, I think we've done a good job in our career, man, of really getting teams together in a short period of time. Now we get them together for a longer period. Our team last year didn't get together until May. We didn't see them hit nobody till August, and then we had to play at the end of August. Now we get a chance. These guys are here in January. They get a chance to be around each other. We had to go through some bumps early on in the season that we're going through those bumps now. And so I'm really enjoying the fact that I think the method that we have, it works, and I'm enjoying watching it work for a longer period of time instead of a shorter period of time. And we still got some guys that have to come in the summer, and we have to incorporate them into what we do, and they have to fully buy into it. But these guys have done a really good job of making sure that people know what to expect. Eric's been here on defense. He played as a true freshman. Chase has been here, played on as a true freshman. So when we walked in the door, they were in the first meeting, and they've been in every meeting since. And they're able to kind of tell guys when they come in, hey, here's what he means when he says X, Y, and Z. We don't do this way. We do this that way. We say win and clap off the line. And so they've done a good job in doing that. We had to coach them on how to do that throughout the time, but they've adhered to it and they've gotten it done.
How are your expectations maybe different from last year to this year with this group, especially because now they kind of go your way, as you say?
Yeah, I don't think our expectation is different. I think everybody else's expectation might be different, right? Man, we were very clear when we walked in the door here what we were going to do. I think a lot of people outside of our building thought we were crazy, right? The players ain't never thought we were crazy. They knew what it was. That's why you saw so many guys leave. If you can't do what we tell you to do on a daily basis, you can't play for us. And it doesn't mean you can't play. You just can't play here, right? And so these guys, they're still here because they can play here because they adhere to the rules and values of our program. So our expectation ain't changed. We've been talking about going to Atlanta since we got here and winning. Like, that ain't changed. I do think it's changed for the average Prairie View fan, alum, and people outside on 290, right? I ain't paid for a meal since I've been back, since we got back from Atlanta. Because the expectation is that man, they said, we saw you on TV, y'all winning. Yeah, we didn't come here to cook marshmallows. We came here to win. And so the expectation ain't changed inside. It's gotten tighter because we were so close. And these guys, they almost had it, right? And when you almost get something, all you can think about is getting it again and getting back to that moment and seizing the moment. So a lot of these guys that have been here have stepped up the expectation, which it makes it feel a little different. And so that, I would say, that's the only thing. Not we haven't changed anything.
For a question for Eric, from a player perspective, I was there on the field in Atlanta, and I could see at the end of that game, I could see the pain that everybody felt and just the emotion. Can you explain how that felt, and then what were your thoughts immediately after the game?
Immediately after the game, I was hurt. I feel like I could have did way more, or had talked to my brothers way more, so they could put out all they can. But it hurts not coming down with what we've been talking about coming down with. So when we left it, just seeing them with our heart, just made us more hungry, you know. That's what made us want to stay, made us want to buy in more, and that's what made us want to go back and go play hard and what we got to do now.
I'm sure, I know there's competition all over everywhere as far as you're concerned. But where have been some of the more hotly contested areas that you guys are really looking to develop players and find players?
Man, we finished the season with about 8 D linemen, right? And because of the way we front structure, we could get away with that. Well, now we got 15 D linemen in a row, maybe 16, something like that. And so, old offensive line, we went and got some other guys they need to incorporate, and so there's high levels of competition there. At quarterback, there's some really good competition there. We went out and signed a few. And we had a returning starter. I called Tevin Carter a returning starter because he started in 1 game for us. And so there's really there. But I'll tell you what really stands out when you talk about the athletic positions. Defensive back and wide receiver right now, we have a lot of depth there. And we're sorting through how talented that depth is. people are so quick to say they're loaded, right? I don't know if we loaded. I just know we got a lot of bodies, right? And so we got to make sure that those bodies are competing at a high level and give us the very best chance to win. But I like the amount of bodies that we do have that can create that competition. Now we can get one-on-one wide receiver DB and not be afraid of a hamstring or something like that, right? We can get the work in that we need because we have the depth and the competition is high in those levels. And let me say this, Eric said something that a lot of people might not catch. These two guys decided to stay. They had options. People don't know what Christmas week was like. You know what I mean? When people were sliding in DMs, and I ain't the coach to call your school out, when you see me, you know what it is, right? And so these two guys both had options to leave. And Prairie View A&M ain't paying no money like people. Like we got enough to pay your cell phone bill. That's what we can do. $39.95 on a Cricket phone. Like that's what we're paying. We're not like others, but they made a decision to stay because they want to win. And so, man, these guys did a phenomenal job of keeping a lot of other guys on our roster because we could have very well lost more than seniors. We only lost one real player to the transfer portal, just one. And we had really good players. And a lot of folks didn't know they were good players, but we had really good players and we got guys returning. And so I wanted to make sure that we highlighted, that I said something about what he said because, man, they made a decision to stay. So we have no choice but to fight ourselves back to get back to where we want to be.
Kind of continuing with that, it's ironic that you have these two gentlemen here and the fact that they stayed because, in my opinion, those were the two position groups that were most highly recruited.
Mm-hmm.
The talent we brought in at running back and DB, to me, was phenomenal. Can you talk about, and maybe Chase can answer this question, can you talk about how do you enter that situation, what's your approach with that increased competition that's the most it's been since you've been on campus? What's your mentality about approaching the competition, maybe helping the guys who are new to the campus that we talked about previously? Just how do you handle it?
I handle it the same way as the same time as before. We only strong as our weakest link. So with new competition coming in, I'm not attacking it as I'm better than him. He not better than me at all. So I'm picking him up. So if I bring him with me and we all be the best, it just make sure we finish the fight, you know. And we was more together last year, but we working on that to come as one this year. You know, that helped us get there last year. So with more competition coming in, I'm not looking at it as, you know, I got to beat him out. I'm looking at it, helping him, bring him forward, you know, to help the whole team together.
Coach, you mentioned quarterback. Who are your guys? And is this the time when you start to evaluate who might be the guy for you, or is that an August kind of conversation?
If you got some eligibility, you'll be the quarterback today. Y'all know I don't tell y'all who the quarterback gonna be, man. But there's guys in the room. I think everybody knows guys in the room. Des Thomas started games at Georgetown. We returned Tevin Carter. Tyler Nelson is a returning guy that's been in the system for a couple of years. Jalen Petway, we had at Valdosta State, and he went to JUCO and did some really good things, won a lot of games there. And so, man, we got some guys in the room, but the quarterback of the Panthers is going to be the guy that wins the football team and doesn't turn the ball over. That's what happens. If you look at our turnovers from a year ago, outside of the 4 turnover game, we didn't have a lot of turnovers. And Cam and Tevin both did a really good job at managing the game. We don't need Tom Brady. We need somebody that's going to be a point guard and distribute the ball and not turn it over and make great decisions, right? And so we'll go through that. The earlier we can know, the better. But we're not going to make a hasty decision just to hurry up and make a decision either. It takes time to win the team. The team has to spend time with each other, form the collective, and then the collective has to be won over, right? And so however much time that takes, we'll take it. But then when we get in the fall camp, we rocking and rolling because we don't get to open up with the Division II teams like some of the people out there, right? We open up with the number 3 team in the country. And we got a lot of respect for that, right? And so at one point in my career, we were that. right? We've been the number one team in the country coming back and opening up. So I understand what that is. I understand the mindset that goes into that. And so we got to make a decision.
As you mentioned, Coach, we have 100 plus players on campus. What's your philosophy and strategy for giving those guys sufficient snaps in order for you to start to develop a depth chart for the spring going into the summer?
Yeah, I've been really proud at the tempo of practice, man. I think we've been getting a lot of snaps for each side of the ball to get a good evaluation. Some of the guys we already know about might not get as many snaps as they once did. We want to keep them getting better, but we do have to get our eyes on some guys that are new to find out if they can or they cannot. If they cannot, we need to get them out the program because they can't help us. We love them. But at the end of the day, man, we got to win championships around here. And so if they can, we need to continue to grow them and get them with the rest of the group. And so we changed our practice structure a little bit, and I really like it. It's giving us more 11 on 11 time to really evaluate those guys. Everybody look good in shorts, tagging off. And somebody got to get hit. And so we've had a lot of time in order to see that. Yesterday we had what we call a B-style practice. I thought we got a lot of reps in, and coaches are upstairs evaluating guys right now.
You know, there was a lot made of you guys' trip to Colorado and working with that staff and Dion. Were there any things that you got from there that you've been able to apply to what you guys are doing this spring?
Yeah, first of all, man, just really thankful for Coach to bring us out there and allow us to look around. Like I said before, man, we got some confirmation on some things that we were doing that, and when we talked about the reasons why he does them, the reason why we do them, they kind of align. And then we picked up some things from the business side of football that I think are going to be really beneficial. There's nobody in the country on any level at any program that's doing business in ball like they're doing business in ball in Colorado. The amount of outside resources that they can command is phenomenal. And so Coach was really gracious to put us in touch with some people. There's all kinds of revenue forms now in college football. We're looking for a jersey patch sponsor. We're looking for people to put their name on the field. We're looking for a stadium naming rights deal. Man, there's nobody better to go see and to go build relationships with than Coach Prime. And so going out there, we were able to see how they do it. We were able to be on the football side and the business side. And then we were able to really pick his brain on who did business with him when he was at an HBCU, which that's what's important. It's not that who wants to do business, it's who wants to do business with schools like ours. And so he was able to really shine a light on that. And then he was really gracious enough to allow us to have open access. Man, we're standing all on the field. We trying to stand on the sideline. He pulled us on the field. I mean, this dude is who he says he is. And some people were upset about that, and I just don't know why, because it's tickets to Denver going all the time. And so all you got to do is maybe humble yourself and talk to the guy, and you can go find out. But I thought it was beneficial. And there's going to be some things that people see moving forward that they did that we can do. That's low-hanging fruit. It doesn't cost us a lot of money. And so we were really happy about being out there.
And so how productive has this offseason been for you, would you say?
I don't know, how productive the offseason been?
It's been hard, man. It's been hard. Like the working out for it, trying to keep us healthy. It's been hard, man. I say productive as a Panther can be, man.
I was speaking with Eric. I've been associated with Prairie for about 35 plus years. Last year's team was the best secondary that I can recall in that entire time. Tell us about how it, and I knew you guys could see the film and you knew you were good, right? Collectively as a unit. Tell us how did it feel to be a part of that unit? How did you build that strength? I believe it became a position of strength on the defense. Just talk to us about how you built that camaraderie, how did you build that collective
We dogs. It's dogs versus dogs out there, man. Iron sharpen iron. Ain't nobody can go out there and let nobody get beat. We the best we can be. As he said every meeting, we the best. We gonna be the best. So you just gotta go out there and show me what you got. I think I'm better than you. So show me you can beat me.
Straight like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the floor?
And then in conclusion, just when you coming out of the spring, I mean, what is it that you hope you want to have gained and found out about this team?
Well, I want to know who can play football violently. You know, all coaches get up here and say, we got to be healthy and we got those things are normal. Yeah, everybody wants to be healthy. But man, somebody got to get hit. I need to see how people react after they get hit. I need to see who's going to do the hitting. We want to be known as a violent, physical football team. It's only one way to find that out. And then we need to find out the rest of the leadership needs to rise to the top. And so we can send them into the summer together and knowing that when we're gone on vacation, the job is still going to get done. I'm looking for the team to take over the team. And until then, as long as we're running it as coaches, we're only so good. When the collective makes a decision to be the collective and they run it, then we'll be really, really good. That's what happened at the end of last season. So we're hoping that because we've been together longer, that it can happen faster. And so all things equal, man, we certainly want to give ourselves the best opportunity from a grade standpoint to be eligible, but we haven't had a lot of eligibility issues. We want to make sure that guys are available both on and off the field and send us into the summer extremely, with great momentum. Now, we don't have a long break for these guys. They're going to get 2 weeks off and we'll be right back here on Memorial Day. Like it's right back to the grind. And so I want them to enjoy themselves, disconnect for a little bit, and then get back so we can finish this fight.
Thank you.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.